Welcome back to In Focus Kentucky. On today's show, we're focusing on Child Abuse Prevention Month by speaking with those dedicated to preventing it here in Kentucky. And joining me now is Bill Goodman, Executive Director of Kentucky Humanities, and Shannon Moody from Kentucky Youth Advocates. Thanks so much for joining me, both of you all today here on In Focus Kentucky.
Thanks, Mario.
Thanks for having us.
You bet. And we'll start with you, Bill. Talk with us for those who are not aware of what Kentucky Humanities does. What does your organization do, and why did you decide to get involved?
Kentucky Humanities has been around in the state of Kentucky for 46 years. And it's a surprise to a lot of people because they may not know of all of the programs that we produce throughout the year. We might be best known for our Kentucky Chautauqua performers who have been performing in Kentucky since 1992. They are the performers who take on the characters of Daniel Boone and Abraham Lincoln and Henry Clay and so many others, and we've had that ongoing program. They perform in schools, civic clubs, churches all across the state of Kentucky. But a number of the other programs that we do produce are our literacy program in schools called Primetime Family Reading Time. We produce the Kentucky Book Fair each November out at the Alltech Arena. We're just getting ready to launch a program called Kentucky Reads, All the King's Men. It's the Pulitzer Prize winning Robert Penn Warren's 70th anniversary of that Pulitzer Prize that he won for that book, and we're going to ask people to read the book along with us and discuss it. And more importantly, we have gotten involved with Kentucky Youth Advocates and COSAR Charities on child abuse, and through the book fair we were able to bring in an author who talked about that. So there is a link between humanities and child abuse. We think it's a strong link, and we're so proud to be affiliated with Shannon and Aaron Marin, the author, and COSAR Charities to talk about child abuse.
And Shannon, talk about that link that Bill is referencing and this Face It movement, this campaign that is going on. Why at Kentucky Humanities seem like a natural partner to be involved with this movement?
Yeah, well, when COSAR Charities started the Face It campaign it launched in 2013, what we were really looking for were those very likely partnerships, but also maybe those more unlikely partnerships that folks wouldn't necessarily think about. But when we think about prevention, we need to think about it in several different ways and how it affects families across the state. So thinking about primary prevention and how we do that is around really getting to kids and families and understanding what those risk factors are in the home, and how we tackle those and target those. And we had engaged with the humanities because they have the Kentucky Book Fair every year, and thinking about ways that we talk about child abuse and neglect in the state and throughout the state, trying to think about different ways to get those conversations happening just in homes or in schools or in your communities.
And Shannon, talk about some of those possible warning signs that people should be looking out for when they're trying to diagnose child abuse.
Yeah, so there's a doctor actually at University of Louisville, Dr. Melissa Curry, who in partnership with a couple of other physicians had come up with this 10-4 rule. Basically, 10 is an acronym for torso, ears, and neck, and 4 is for 4 months and 4 years. So if there's ever bruises on torso, ears, or neck, that should be a red flag. Because typically if a person falls, they're protecting themselves with their hands or their knees. So having bruises in those locations is a red flag and not something that typically happens. And then any child under the age of 4 months old with any kind of bruising at all who are typically not mobile yet is also a cause for a red flag. But some of the other signs and symptoms are just with children who you see on a regular basis, if they're seeming more withdrawn or seem to have more outbursts, say in a classroom or in a home, or if they seem to be particularly fearful of an adult or particular adults, those are typically red flags.
And Bill, let us know some different examples of how your organization is using storytelling to help heal children.
Well, we have been telling Kentucky stories for a long time in Kentucky, and we always think that instead of a set of rules or recommendations, telling stories are the way that we have operated for many years.
And do you all have a lot of guest speakers that come in to help with this?
We do, we plan to do more with Shannon and Kentucky Youth Advocates and COSAIR Charities. Is to really, we're a statewide organization, so we hope that we can take this message not only to the book fair in November, but throughout the state.
Talk with us about how people can learn more information about both your organizations, and we'll start with you, Shannon.
So we have a website, it's faceatabuse.org. We also have a both social media, Twitter and Facebook, just at faceatabuse. And we also send out listservs so you can get more information that way.
And Bill, how can people find out more about Kentucky Humanities?
kyhumanities.org. We also are on social media, and anything that we can do, answer questions, either through email or personal contact. We have an office in Lexington, but we're, again, a statewide organization. We'll be working again and posting some information about the Kentucky Book Fair that comes up on November the 17th in Lexington at the Alltech Arena, and we'll be sure and have as part of our focus child abuse and what we can do to eradicate this by the year 2022.
And we really appreciate you all both making time to join us here on In Focus Kentucky, and also your work that you're doing here in our state.
Thank you, Mario.
You bet. Now, coming up, we have Attorney General Andy Beshear in studio to talk about some of the initiatives his office is implementing to stop child abuse. Next on In Focus Kentucky.